In a beautiful village surrounded by green fields, tall trees, colorful flowers, and a crystal-clear river, there stood a small but lovely house where Heer and Prince lived together. Their home was simple, but it was filled with love, happiness, laughter, and peace. Every morning they woke, up to the sweet songs of birds, and the cool breeze coming from the river. Heer loved Prince with all her heart, and Prince cared for Heer more than anything in the world. They always thanked Allah for the blessings in their lives and enjoyed every moment together. One day, dark clouds covered the sky and a powerful rainstorm arrived over the village. Thunder roared across the heavens, lightning flashed through the clouds, and heavy rain poured down for hours. The fields became greener, the air became fresh and clean, and the river swelled with rainwater. When the rain finally stopped, the entire village looked more beautiful than ever. Something amazing had happened. The river was suddenly full of fish. Large fish, small fish, and shining silver fish could be seen swimming everywhere in the clear water. The villagers gathered near the riverbank in excitement. Heer also noticed the fish and became very happy. She immediately picked up her phone and called Prince. At that moment, Prince was sitting at a small village hotel with an elderly uncle, enjoying a cup of tea. His phone rang, and when he saw Heer's name on the screen, he smiled and answered immediately. Heer excitedly told him that after the heavy rain, the river was full of fish and asked if he would come to catch some. Prince laughed and promised that if she was waiting for him, he would come as quickly as possible. Heer happily said that she would wait for him. After ending the call, Prince quickly left and headed toward the village. Along the way, he admired the beautiful scenery. Rain droplets sparkled on the leaves. The fields looked fresh and green, and the cool breeze carried the pleasant scent of wet earth. When he reached the river, his best friend was already waiting for him. The two friends greeted each other and prepared a small wooden boat. They checked their fishing nets, gathered their equipment, and pushed the boat into the river. Slowly, they sailed toward the deeper water where they hoped to find plenty of fish. The river looked magical after the rain. Mist floated above the water, birds flew across the sky, and the sound of flowing water created a peaceful atmosphere. Prince and his friend cast their fishing net and waited patiently. Minutes passed, then an hour passed, but they caught nothing. They moved to another spot and tried again, but there were still no fish. Clouds gathered overhead once more and light rain began to fall. Despite the rain, they continued trying. Prince started to feel disappointed. He looked at his friend and said that if he returned home without any fish, he did not think Heer would be angry. Became very heavy. Both men looked at each other in surprise. They grabbed the rope tightly and began pulling with all their strength. The net resisted, and they could tell that something large was trapped inside. Slowly, they pulled the net out of the water and could hardly believe their eyes. Inside were two enormous fish, bigger than any fish they had ever caught before. Prince shouted with joy and thanked Allah for this blessing. His friend laughed happily, and together they carefully placed the fish inside the boat. Their hard work had finally paid off. As the rain clouds moved away and sunlight began shining through the sky, they turned the boat toward the village. Prince felt excited because he could already imagine Heer's reaction when she saw the fish. As the boat approached the riverbank near their home, he noticed Heer waiting there. She had been looking toward the river for a long time. The moment she saw the boat, she ran toward the shore with excitement. Smiling, she asked Prince if he had brought any fish. Prince proudly showed her the catch. When Heer saw the two giant fish, her eyes widened with amazement. She said she knew he would never disappoint her and that she had always believed he would bring something special home. Hearing these words filled Prince's heart with happiness. The two of them carried the fish home and began preparing dinner together. Heer started making fresh dough for bread while also preparing a delicious mixture of spices. The kitchen soon filled with wonderful aromas. Prince carefully cleaned and cut the fish while Heer prepared all the ingredients needed for cooking. They worked side by side, talking, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. As they cooked, Heer suddenly had a beautiful idea. Looking at the large fish, she suggested that instead of keeping all the food for themselves, they should share it with the village children. Prince immediately loved the idea and agreed. Together they prepared a large feast, including fish curry, fish salan, fresh bread, and many delicious dishes. Once everything was ready, they carefully packed the food and loaded it into their small boat. Then they crossed the river to the other side of the village where there was a park filled with children. When they arrived, the children gathered around them with excitement. Heer and Prince happily served food to everyone. The children smiled, laughed, and enjoyed every bite. Seeing their happiness brought even greater joy to Heer and Prince. The delicious fish curry and fish salon were loved by everyone, and the children thanked them again and again. As the sun began to set and the sky turned orange and golden, Heer looked around at the happy faces and told Prince that because of his hard work, they had been able to feed so many children and bring happiness to their day. Prince smiled and replied that it was all possible because they had worked together and because Allah had blessed them with abundance. The children prayed for them, thanked them, and promised never to forget their kindness. A cool evening, breeze blew through the park as everyone sat together enjoying the beautiful weather. Prince and Heer looked at the river, the colorful sunset, and the smiling children and felt grateful for everything they had. They thanked Allah for his blessings, for their love, for their home, and for the opportunity to help others. As darkness slowly covered the village, everyone said their goodbyes and returned home with happy hearts. Heer and Prince sailed back across the river under the peaceful evening sky. Feeling content and thankful, their simple day had become a beautiful memory filled with love, friendship, generosity, and happiness. It reminded them that true joy does not come from what we keep for ourselves, but from what we share with others. And from that day forward, the villagers often remembered the story of Heer and Prince, the rainy day, the 2 giant fish, and the wonderful feast that brought smiles to so many children. Friends, if you enjoyed this heartwarming family story, don't forget to share your thoughts. And let us know how you liked this beautiful tale of love, kindness, and happiness.